I don't really have much of an agenda today as far as what to talk about. So this is just going to be a bit of me just kind of practicing with you guys and just rambling about odd things that I've been thinking about. You know, I am starting to like this banjo quite a bit. I mean, I obviously loved it when I first opened it up. Um, but there are some things that I really need to get used to. I'm definitely going to take quite a bit of time to learn how to kind of learn this instrument after 2 years on the Deering Good Time. There's quite a bit of difference on this one. I mentioned quite a few of them in an earlier video, but as I've practiced with this particular banjo, other things are kind of cropping up. One is the dark colored neck. Just looking at a dark colored neck versus the kind of the blonde neck of the Good Time still is throwing me off. Sometimes I'm still hunting for the strings, trying to figure out where those things are. And another one is the size of the resonator. Obviously, I'm quite spread eagled on this thing, which is fine because today is a bit of a hot one here in California. Pretty warm and stifling. I don't run the fan while I'm recording just because that buzzing in the background can add additional noise. And I'm going to digress a little bit, I guess, here. I did get some another new microphone as the search for good audio continues. I picked up another one of these Komicas, so now I have two of them. I have one that records the banjo noise down pointed at the head of the banjo, and then I have this one for voice recording. I kind of like these because they have a gain adjustment right on the back. Previously, I've been using these DJI mics, which are good. I like them. But to get to the gain function, you have to enter into some menus. And if something doesn't sound right, you have to go back into the menu. Here, I can just adjust it. I can look at the audio output to see if I'm clipping at all. And if I am, I just turn it down. If the read is not getting high enough, I can turn it back up and stuff. So that's pretty good. But what I was saying is the banjo. The other thing that about the banjo is that it projects such great sound that it projects the mistakes just as loud as the good stuff. So I'm really noticing the roughness of my technique because this banjo doesn't lie. It shouts out your mistakes every time you make one. So hopefully in time, this banjo itself is going to be kind of the taskmaster to ensure that I work on producing good sound out of it. But need to work on the ending of that one, but that didn't sound too bad. Fretting. I'm fretting with the left hand. The golfer's elbow is still there. I was doing really good for a while, but then I went on some really long motorcycle rides and re-aggravated it. But I think still, compared to a few months ago, it is improving. It's just going to take time. Speaking about improving, the frozen shoulder syndrome that I've been suffering from for the past year and a half has made a marked improvement over the past few months. I'd say I'm a good 80% as far as mobility and lack of discomfort and pain with the shoulder. So that's good. My body's healing over time. It takes a while as I get older. One of the things that I was working on, and that my instructor has me working on, is, well, I mean, with the golfer's elbow, I've been focusing on right hand technique. And maybe what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just put a clip in really quick of how or where I was, say about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'll just put it right there. And that's how I've been playing, or how I was playing a couple weeks ago, quite a few weeks ago. It's been a bit since I've recorded. Life has been pretty damn busy. And in addition, it's kind of mountain bike season. So I've been sacrificing a night or two of banjo for a bit of mountain biking after work rather than practicing. I'm still getting a decent number of hours in. Speaking of which, I didn't mention it last video. It must have slipped on my mind, but I did break 900 hours. And I think right now I've got to be around 935 or 940. So I'm really closely getting to that halfway mark of 1,000 hours out of the 2,000 hours of banjo. To be honest, I thought I would have hit it by now at the rate that I was practicing last year. But the golfer's elbow really has slowed me down. Um, and there was a bunch of other things that kind of slowed me down too. One of which was, if you weren't, if you haven't been keeping up with all the videos, is that I switched my right hand position from kind of a low cupping position where my hand looked like it was and very open, cupping the bridge, versus a more straight down across the strings approach with a folded over or closed position. And I'm still working the bugs out of how to properly hold my right hand. I do get what I think is a good bit of tone out of the right hand with this new position, which I definitely like. But that wasn't the only change I made. Another change I made was I switched picks. I think everybody seems to know in the banjo world that, was it, blue chip is the best finger pick maker. So I went with Pro Pick instead of blue chip. I went with Pro Pick because blue chip was out of stock. so so I went to the next best thing. Actually, I got these off the Deering website. And Pro Pick makes quite a few different types. And I bought a few different types and played around with quite a bit of them. I have kind of settled on these brass ones with their Sharpie pick over the steel ones. Not because of the way they sound necessarily, but the brass has a bit more, I don't know, like slickness to them. So when I was using the steel picks, it seemed to drag a little bit or get caught on the strings a little bit. And when I was playing with these brass ones, they slide a lot better off the strings, and I kind of like the way they feel. So I'm going off of feel more so than sound as far as picking my picks. I'm sure what I could have done with the steel ones is maybe taken a Dremel and a polish wheel and just kind of, put a nice polish on those picks to make them slick. But I'm liking these brass ones, so I think I might stick with these. And again, I stole I stole the wife's nail polish. This is a trick that I did previously, where the one that I shaped to my index finger, I go ahead and touch up with a bit of nail polish so I can always know which one that is and differentiate it from the others. As far as did I shape the spoon or the blade or whatever the heck you call these? No, I did not. And that's taking some getting used to as well. The picks that I was using before this were the Ernie Ball Picky Picks. And I was using the Ernie Ball Picky Picks because with my old right hand position, when I use a more traditional spoon or blade shaped pick, I was getting a lot of scraping noise as there was a tendency for my finger to slide along the string before picking off of it. And with the picky pick, it kind of helped with that and reduced the amount of drag sound I was getting off of it. So when I switched to this position, and I was getting a lot more power onto my fingertips, onto the strings, the picky picks are great, but they're very thin. It's not much metal up at the tip. And I felt that they were flexing a bit. And they were shaped, bent really, quite a bit over the tip of my finger. And I wasn't getting, it didn't feel right. And so I decided to explore with different picks, and that's why I ended up with trying these. And I like them, but the way that these project out from the fingertip quite a bit more than the Ernie balls, which were so curved over the tip of the finger, it took some getting used to. And the reason that I didn't decide to go ahead and curve these just as much is because this is how they came. They came with this specific shape and this specific curve. And I figured I might as well just keep them that way and learn to play with them that way. That way, if I ever lose them or damage them or need another set, I can buy them and I don't have to kind of, guess or work that bend, which I'll probably never get the same. But straight from the factory, they'll always be the same. And if I learn how to play the shape straight from factory, then it doesn't matter which, if I buy a new set or not, I will know how to use them without having to try to shape them and hopefully get it right. But that has been really also adding to the difficulty of switching the hand position, because now I did a whole bunch of things at once, and I guess maybe doing them all at once is better than spreading out the pain. So I changed my right hand position, I switched picks, and I got a new banjo. And really, that felt like starting from beginning. Just the hand position. I'll tell you, I was mentioning how I thought I would have hit 1,000 hours by now. When I switched my right hand position from the cup position to this more over hang position, I'm going to call it a traditional position because I see a lot of other banjo players using this position. My practices, man, I think the longest I could practice was about 15 minutes. It was a mental workout. Seriously, it was just a mental workout to sit there and focus on getting that hand right there. And I had to practice in a mirror and keep looking at that right hand, because as soon as I stopped looking at it, it started swinging back down to the old position, and I had to keep forcing it up. And at the beginning, I could only withstand about 15 minutes of practice at a time, because it was just so difficult. I was so fatigued from the strain of forcing that position. It would imagine just trying to learn how to start writing with your non-dominant hand, like how much effort that would feel like in such a short amount of time of just 15 minutes. Try practicing writing with your non-dominant hand for 15 minutes. You'll be wiped out. I'm figuring. I haven't tried it, but I would imagine that you would be pretty wiped out. Anyway, so lots of right hand technique. As I was showing, hopefully I was able to insert the video earlier. This time around, And you may have noticed this at the beginning of the video. I'm trying to get this middle finger up to the second string. And this is something that my instructor is encouraging me to do, to learn how to do that, to get that, get good mental control over my right hand, which I never really had before. Previous to this, I would focus on my right hand only during the process of learning a song. Once I've learned which strings to pick, and I kind of got that in memory, I just relied on rote memorization and muscle memory from then on, and all the focus was then on my left hand. And every time I tried to focus on my right hand, my playing went to crap because it felt so foreign to try to focus on that right hand. I'll tell you, over the past few months, all I've been doing is focusing on that right hand. And really being able to dictate exactly what I want to do, that right hand to do, and when to do it. And that has been incredibly challenging. In a lot of ways, I don't feel like I've progressed much this year in what I would consider the more traditional sense on how I've been measuring progress over the last 2.5 years, which is how many songs have I learned? How fast can I learn? How fast can I play them? And so forth. This year has really been really putting a lot of effort into trying to figure out how I'm going to play this instrument for the rest of my career of playing this instrument. How am I going to hold the banjo? How am I going to position my arm? What picks am I going to use? How am I going to position my hand? Getting that good control of that right hand. The right hand technique is so incredibly difficult. For those banjo players out there where people say, man, that guy's got good right hand technique, I applaud them because it is really way more difficult than I ever thought to get the right hand to do exactly what you want, when you want, with good tone, at the tone you want, on the position of the head that you want. It's really been a challenge. Just this. Just the ability that I've developed to move my hand up there and hit these strings up close to the neck. Oh, so much effort, so much practice has gone into trying to be able to do that. And I'm doing it pretty slow, but still I'm really impressed on how I'm able to do that versus the amount of effort it took just to initiate that, say 2 months ago or 3 months ago. And now to try to incorporate some fretting with it. Up here towards the neck is still tricky for me. It's probably going to be tricky for me for a very, very long time. You have to be so precise and almost delicate as you get closer to the neck. The strings get closer to the head. You have to pick very shallow. You have to be careful. I'm getting a lot of pick buzzing because of how much in part because of how much the string vibrates at this distance from the bridge, and in part due to my hesitation and lack of confidence to attack the string when I want to pick it. My instructor has told me that when I start to build more confidence this close to the neck, I'll be able to get that pick onto the string more efficiently, and it will reduce the amount of buzzing that I'm getting. And he showed it. He's really good playing this close to the neck. And when he plays, yes, you can still hear a bit of buzzing, but certainly not as much as of buzzing as I get. Ugh. Another thing that I've been trying to practice on, and this is because I swear to God, I think I might be developing yet another repetitive stress injury. I'm getting a little tenderness in this knuckle here on one of my plant fingers, and in part it's because I start a practice, and through the practice I'm letting my left hand drop, and okay, what song next? And then at the end of the practice, I finally kind of allow my right hand to release. And when I do, it's like, okay, straighten those fingers. Okay, all right, let's get some blood circulating through them. For some reason, I've developed this fear of unmounting my right hand and putting it back. So I'm trying to make a concerted effort throughout my practice, like every few minutes, get the right hand off the head of the banjo, and then shake it out, and then replace it, relocate it. And hopefully this will help me develop an ability to find home every time I go back to the banjo without, starting to play. It's like, oh no, pinky's brushing against that first string. That's not good. I got to adjust. So hopefully with time, and also, loosening up, keeping the fingers nice and limber. I am doing my stretches before practice and after practice. Hopefully that will, help also with the finger, and keep the fingers and the hand nice and loose. I'm fighting this knack to be very tense when I'm playing. Yeah, super tricky. Once you get up to the neck, very, very tricky. One last thing I'm going to mention before I end today's video, because really I'm just kind of rambling and just picking along with with really no direction. You'll notice in the background that there's something missing. The deering. The deering is not in the background. I've packed it up. I didn't sell it. It's right here, right behind me. But I wanted to get it out of sight. And the reason I wanted to get it out of sight is because my instructor, and there's some comments in some of the older videos, have all said basically focus on the new banjo. Don't play the old banjo. This is now my banjo. It's a little bit different. Actually, it's quite a bit different. The nut width is different. The weight is different. It's got a resonator. I need to learn how to play this banjo. I don't want to learn how to play 2 banjos or 3 banjos or 4 banjos. I want to play one banjo really well. And this is now my banjo. Maybe years down the road, I'll take the D-ring out if I want to start to dabble with, say, um, claw hammer or something like that. Or maybe at some point I'll sell, which will be a sad day because I really love that banjo. But this is my banjo now. It's kind of like that saying, beware the man who owns one gun, because they're going to be really good with that one gun. This is my one gun, and my hope is that I become really, really good with it. All right, everybody. It's really hot. I'm sweating like crazy up here. Hopefully, the audio is good today. I apologize again for not putting out a video in so many weeks, but boy, things have been kind of crazy busy. That's for damn sure. My name's Mark. This has been 2000 Hours of Banjo. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. I got a ton of practice to do. See you later. Bye.